did say it. Alrighty. Take two. Welcome to Geekly Discussion, the weekly podcast where Anubis and I are going to sit here and talk about random stuff. Today's topics will include things like PC parts and how expensive they are, games, maybe politics if it gets factored in like it did the last time we recorded this.
Kitty.
Okay, I think that was the best intro that we've done so far. Yeah. So, of course, welcome. I am your host, PJ. This is Anubis as well.
Hello.
Hello! And we are on our second take of this, so don't mind the frustration.
Oh.
I definitely need to turn down my audio gain. Oh, wow, now it's not even picking me up. Turn it up a bit.
First topic of the day: world nomination of mass genocide.
What? Did you just say? What? What did you just say to me?
And first topic of the day: world nomination of mass genocide.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, no, I mean, let's start off with. Well, I mean, this episode is literally okay. First off, something I didn't do last time that I want to do this time. I'm going to clarify. The first 4 episodes of this podcast were named by Anubis as a meme.
It's not my fault. I was doing it for a meme, and he was just like, "That sounds really good, man."
I like it because it's funny. It's funny. It brings humor to my heart. But this first episode, of course, being my life in retail, working for the Empire, something like that. Yeah, my life in retail, working for the Empire. The next episode will, of course, be gas station simulator, my addiction to pain, and it goes on from there. But yeah, so let's talk about retail. Let's talk about Walmart. What are your thoughts on Walmart?
I have 2 friends that work at Walmart, and one of them hates it, and one of them loves it.
Who's the other one?
Speaking. A friend who lives out here with me, or near me.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, Which one hates it? I'm assuming it's me.
It's you.
What
It's
department?
you.
What department do they work in?
Electronics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I work in the online grocery department, which is why I'm working overnights doing Black Friday stuff, obviously. But it is obnoxious. I genuinely do hate my job, but that is mainly because it is just very tedious. It is the most fast-paced department, though, so I can't like switch to another.
For legal reasons, he does not hate his job. He hates what comes along with it, and he doesn't necessarily hate it.
That's accurate.
Right?
That is
Right?
an accurate statement. Because it's not the working. I don't mind working. I absolutely don't mind working. Hell, I'm sitting here recording a podcast. That is technically work. But
Yes, you are sitting down in your fancy chair.
My $60
surrounded
chair I got at Walmart.
Sitting down in your chair in your home, talking to me. That is work.
I don't know which part of it you're saying is work, the talking to you part, or just the entire situation.
The entire situation, but specifically talking to me.
Clarified. All right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's not like work in the same sense. I'm not literally running around my house picking groceries because that's what I do at Walmart. I'm sitting down. I'm sure. That's okay. That is one thing I really like about podcasts because I can sit here. We're just sitting here having a conversation. It's essentially people listening to you have a conversation for an hour where you cover various topics.
Yes. So for clarification, before we start getting into this, I have never worked a single day in retail in my life. The only job I've ever had was working for the government.
Yeah, Anubis was in the army. I worked at McDonald's for 5 years and then started working at Walmart. Whew.
And now I'm broken, and I get paid for it. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't get paid a whole lot, and most of my money goes to shit that I don't want, and
Don't need
probably don't actually fucking need. But hey,
75-inch TV for a monitor.
65 inch.
It's a 75. Oh, it is a 65 because you meant to order the 55.
Yep, and it was still $100 cheaper. Actually, it was still like $50 cheaper than a 55 inch.
That's fair.
Don't ask me. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. At time of recording, it is of course almost Thanksgiving. It is the season of the giving of thanks and turkeys and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And I swear
Merry
to God,
Kalashnikov.
yeah, very. Did you say Mary Kalashnikov or very Kalashnikov?
Merry Kalashnikov.
Mary Kalashnikov. I will say though, if I am sitting here doing this podcast with you and we have a guest come on that decides they want to play Christmas music, if you're coming on a podcast as a guest and you just randomly start playing music, you're an
Don't
asshole.
take that one out of context.
Huh?
Don't take that one out of context. You're coming on a podcast.
Jesus Christ, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, no, if you come on a podcast and fuck you. I can't not think of that now. If you join in a podcast and you just randomly start playing music for no reason, you're a dick. That hasn't happened. That's just my thought process. Also, if you come on my podcast and start playing Christmas music before Thanksgiving, no, you will be kicked out. Because that bugs the hell out of me.
Time for me to fucking.
I swear
Time for
to
me
God.
to cue up Mariah Carey.
I hate you. I was listening to a bunch of mashups earlier. Like, there was one. It was the Mariah Carey "All I Want for Christmas." I can't remember what the other song, what the lyrics they used that were different, but it was actually really good. Have you listened to anything like that? Because I went through like a whole playlist of them. There was like 15 different songs, and they were actually really good mashups, except for like one. I don't even remember what it was, but that's because it was trash.
I dislike most Christmas music.
That's fair. I do too.
I personally am a bah humbug ass motherfucker. I'm not a huge fan of Christmas.
That is fair. I don't know. Walmart's already got Christmas decorations and Christmas trees and all that, and they're already playing Christmas music on the radio. I hate it. It's not even Thanksgiving. Give it some time. Give thanks. Thanksgiving is a time about giving thanks, not giving gifts. Imagine sitting around the table with your family, having dinner, carving the turkey. Someone's like, all right, here you go. Fucking chucks a gift at you.
See, I am under the impression right now that they're kind of just skipping over Thanksgiving, not because they don't care, not because they don't know, but because they know that in the modern day, in the modern time, in this current dystopia, there's nothing to be thankful for.
That is a valid statement. Wow, this podcast really brings out our like aggressive side towards life.
Maybe just a little bit.
Like it might just be frustration at the fact that we have to record this a second time because no one's going to hear the original version of this podcast. We had to re-record this because I did not have the gain up on my audio capture on OBS because that's what I'm using to record this. And the last time I recorded this, you could not hear Anubis like at all. It was the itty bitty thing. And I did not feel like going through in Premiere and picking around the parts where I talk to make it so you can hear him.
It would have been easy. He's just lazy.
It would not have been easy. It would have been so many cuts. But I mean, it's audio. No one would have noticed. I mean, depending on how clean the cut is. I've done a little bit of audio work, though. I can make it sound clean. But yeah, I mean, we've been rambling. Let's get on to the topics we are here to discuss. Holiday, check. We've covered the fact that it's not Christmas time yet. unless this goes up after Thanksgiving, which I don't think it will. I want to get it done and up as soon as I can. I don't know. We've got new releases,
Sometime next year.
right? New releases. We were talking about some games earlier. We were talking about Forza Horizon 5, which makes me big sad because my computer can't run it, but that's a topic we'll get into later.
Battlefield
Battlefield
2042.
2042. I thought it was 2048. I don't know why.
It was 2042. Pissing me the fuck off with Battlefield 2042, man. I still haven't loaded it up, so I actually can't verify it. But everything that I've heard, there's no campaign for 2042, which makes me the big sad.
That
Because,
is the big sad.
don't get me wrong, Battlefield's multiplayer, Battlefield 5 doesn't exist. Let's ignore its existence. Battlefield 5 does, fuck that.
I don't even think I own Battlefield 5. I think I own Battlefield 4.
Like, Battlefield Bad Company 1 was fucking amazing. Battlefield Bad Company 2, best game ever fucking made. Changed my mind.
Haven't played it.
Battlefield 3, campaign was pretty solid. Multiplayer was stellar. Battlefield 4, personally not a huge fan of either the campaign or the multiplayer, but it was still a decent game. Battlefield 1, pretty fucking solid. I enjoyed the campaign. It was a little weird getting used to the setting, World War I and all that stuff.
That's fair.
But it's still a solid game, both campaign and multiplayer. The multiplayer in it was actually fucking great.
Yeah.
I fucking love Battlefield 1's multiplayer. Oh my god.
The only Battlefield game that I've played in like the past 6 months was Battlefield 4, and I haven't played that in a minute.
Oh yeah. Battlefield 5 should never have existed.
Yeah, from what I've heard I think that's why I got Battlefield 4 instead of Battlefield 5. It's because I've heard a lot of bad things about Battlefield 5.
Like when they were coming out with Battlefield 5, I thought they were coming out with like something akin to ye olde fucking World War II Battlefield game. I think it's like Battlefield 1943, 1942, something like that.
Something.
I thought they were coming out with something like, I don't even remember because it's been so fucking long. But yeah, no, I thought they were coming out with something like that. And I was excited as all hell for it. And then I played it, and it was trash.
Oh, no. I don't know. I mean, the Battlefield games are good, or most of them are good. I am kind of sad that 2042 is not going to have a campaign, though. Because sometimes I just want to sit there and I want to play a game by myself where I can just go about and shoot people. Granted, I do play a lot of Far Cry.
Dude.
That's a new release I didn't mention in the last time we recorded this. Far Cry 6. So good. How many hours do I have in that so far? I've been playing it almost constantly. I don't even know if it shows up on Discord that I've been playing it because it is like brand new, so it doesn't have like the activity thing like it usually does.
What I can tell you is I'm a simp for a good story, and I am extremely disappointed that Battlefield 2042 is probably not going to have a campaign. Is the multiplayer going to be good? I don't know. I haven't played it yet. And, I mean, that's obviously just going to be my own opinion on it, whether or not,
yeah,
the campaign or the multiplayer is going to be good. But, I mean,
I can attest to being a simp for a good story. I love games that have a really, really good storyline.
Your gameplay can be shit. Your game mechanics can be shit. If you have a good story, I'm probably going to like your fucking game.
And then there's Arma, where the gameplay is shit, and it literally has no story because the main game itself, with the main campaign, is trash.
And still somehow idiots like us enjoy it.
I know. But, I mean, okay, back to Far Cry 6, because I am absolutely in love with this game.
Yes.
What is my Ubisoft email?
Fucking no.
I don't know either. Wait, maybe my password's different. I can't remember my Ubisoft login right now, so I cannot check how many hours I have in Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6 is absolutely... 10. Huh?
At least 10.
Yeah. So, Far Cry 6 is... okay. backing up from Far Cry 6 a little bit, the Far Cry series in general is
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. I love it to death. I have played a little bit of Far Cry 4. I've beaten Far Cry 5 and New Dawn multiple times. Have you actually played any of the Far Cry games?
Yep, I played Far Cry. I played Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4. I played a little tiny bit of Far Cry 5. I haven't played New Dawn, and I obviously haven't played 6.
Yeah, no. It is amazing. There were two games that I was absolutely looking forward to, like top tier. I'll say three games because I wasn't planning on getting Battlefield 2042. I haven't gotten it yet. I'm still considering that. I've been absolutely looking forward to Halo Infinite, which is the beta for multiplayer came out yesterday.
Yeah.
I was absolutely looking forward to Far Cry 6 as soon as I heard about it. I've been waiting for it. And then we've got Forza Horizon 5 that I can't play because my computer crashes, because my computer parts are not good enough. I am very scared to open up Halo Infinite.
It'll be fine. I mean, actually, I can't say that because, I mean, my PC, it kind of struggles to run it a little bit. So, I mean,
Your PC struggles? My PC's not even going to open it. Bruh.
I mean,
That actually makes me like very sad because I've been scared to open it since I bought it yesterday and installed it because I don't want to find out that it's gonna crash on me the first time I open it.
fine. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm planning on getting a new PC. Hopefully, this next month. It's gonna have a 3060 Ti. Um, I don't remember if it's an i5 or an i7. I want to say it's an i7, but I could be wrong. 10700.
Probably an i7, because I have an i5 right now.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't remember. Um, but yeah, hopefully if that comes to fruition, I will be able to hit that sweet, sweet 40 frames.
Imagine, oh bro, whenever I was playing Arma in the 61st, and I would be hitting like 10 frames, and then it was all just because of some of the mods that we used.
Yeah, fucking. Hmm.
That Bloodlust mod,
Yep,
yeah, no,
I remember.
that killed everyone's frames. And then I don't know why, but T-Far Beta was always killing my frames too.
I haven't been having any issues with T4 Beta lately.
Does this other unit that we're in now, do they use T-Far or T-Far Beta?
They use Beta.
Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Beta. I have no problems with it. It's just more of it causes my game to lag for whatever reason. Um, yeah, but I really wanted to like do like a review of what I think of uh, Forza Horizon 5, but I can't open it, and I can't upgrade my computer at the moment because segue on.
PC
PC
parts,
parts
yeah.
PC parts are expensive. PC parts are very expensive.
Yes, PC parts and PCs themselves are stupid fucking expensive today.
Yeah, no, like we when we were looking at it earlier, what was it? The 2070 being $1,200. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Something stupid like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I'm not gonna sit there and spend $1,200 on a graphics card. But
Yeah, I mean,
also
like,
I need to spend $1,200 on a graphics card.
yeah, the price of these things, the price of the parts themselves, like, you're saving money buying a mid tier. You're saving money buying a mid tier pre-built PC from someplace like Best Buy, like
Yeah,
straight cash.
and then what we were talking about earlier, how Best Buy does the whole rent to buy thing.
Yeah, they do financing. Like
Yeah,
they go through, check your credit score and all that stuff, and they do financing on that kind of stuff. I think I don't remember exactly what they use, but I think they use like Klarna or something like that, and it's like 4 payments. Well, one of the interesting things with that is if you're using a system like that, trying to do 4 payments, and PCs are 3 or 4 grand for something that's just probably a little bit better than what I have. You're paying
Yeah.
$1,000 a fucking month.
That is so expensive. Like I kind of want because I the camera that I want is the Sony A7S II, um, which at this point, since it's been like 4 years since I've used one, it's a little outdated, but it's my favorite camera. But I guarantee
Yeah.
if I tried to get that financed through Best Buy, that's a $2,000 camera. If I tried to get that financed, that would be like $600 a month.
Yeah, I mean, but that is an interesting thing that a lot of places have been doing. Best Buy is one of them. I don't, like I said, I don't know exactly what they use for their financing stuff, but it is a thing that places have been doing is financing, and there's some rent to own places too. One of the examples that I've heard of that I'm actually looking into right now is um, no compromise game and no compromise gaming. I'm looking at it because they don't care about your credit score. They don't look at your credit score. Ignore the vehicles. Yeah, they don't look at your credit score. I mean, they probably look at your credit score, but they don't care about your credit score. Like even with a credit score like mine, which is
Absolutely
pretty
trash
fucking
because you
yeah,
were in the army and that's how and you're
yeah,
getting paid by the government currently.
yeah. I mean, that's not why it's trash, but yeah, no, my credit score's fucking trash. Um, like I can still get a PC through them. Now, granted, like I am set up so I can get a PC at a maximum of per month payment of $275. I can pay a maximum of $275. I can pay less, but if I pay less, not getting a PC that's I'm probably not even getting a PC that's equivalent to what I have right now.
Yeah. And if you pay more, then oof.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no compromise gaming is. I mean, there's other places out there that do financing and stuff like that. But a lot of those places, they'll say, no credit score is good. We even finance bad credit score and all that stuff, and they don't actually mean that. Like if you have a bad credit score, you're not going to get approved. If you don't have a credit score, you're probably not going to get approved.
Yeah, no, because they're just trying to draw you in, be like, hey, we'll take care of you. We're here. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. Nah, it's.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen the show Sherlock?
Uh, with eggs Benedict cucumber patch.
Yes, with eggs Benedict cucumber patch. So there's a scene in that where he uses the homeless network to get information. So he walks up to a homeless person, and the guy who plays Watson, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's in a whole bunch of other stuff. He's a phenomenal actor. Um, Actually, he's in Black Panther. He's one of the CIA guys. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
The
so
dude
he
who played the
sits
Hobbit.
there, and he's like, "Oh, so like they scratch your back," and Benedict Cumberbatch, his immediate response is, "And then I go sanitize my hands." It's essentially how it is with a lot of those places that are sitting there, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll finance you for like no credit," and then they don't.
Yeah, and it's worse for people that have a lower credit score that have something that's closer to what would be determined a bad credit score. A lot of times, what they do with those kinds of things is they make you pay more. Like it might not be noticeably more, but a lot of those places will make you pay more because your credit score is lower, which is kind of fucking backwards.
Yeah, because the credit score is supposed to help you pay for it, which means, hey, higher credit score means, yeah, I can pay more.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean
Yeah,
that you can pay. Like a credit score doesn't necessarily mean that you can pay a certain amount. A credit score more or less means you can make your
you're
payments
more
on time.
you're more
You can
reliably able to pay that amount.
yeah, you're reliable to make your payments on time and full.
Yeah, but then I mean, I'm trying to logic my way through that, being like, oh, hey, you have a shit credit score, now you have to pay more. Is that sort of like it makes sense to me that that would be a thing where they're doing that to be like, hey, if you're not going to pay for it, then we might as well just take it back anyway. So we'll make you pay more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it personally. I mean, I'm sure there's almost certainly places that don't do that. Um,
Or
there's
maybe it's
almost
just kind of
certainly
like
places.
a hey, you have a good credit reward being less payment.
I I don't know, dude. I don't know. I really don't.
This is why I
But
don't
yeah,
run companies like that because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm. Yeah, no, like yeah, I'm looking at no compromise gaming because I can get a PC that is better than what I have for a relatively low cost per month. One of the issues with that is with those kinds of things with rent to own programs and financing programs and things like that, one of the biggest things that comes along with that is you are almost certainly at the end of your payments. Obviously, like in the short run, you're not paying as much. Like me, $275 a month. If I actually bought something that was $275 a month, that's what I would be paying. That's
Yeah,
not bad. That's pretty fucking good.
that's not bad at all.
But in the long run, if I were buying, if I were gonna make if it was a 3,000 if it was a $3,000 PC or something, I don't know. Fucking if it was a $2,750 PC, you know,
Which
10 months
in this fucking
10 months of payment.
economy is a mid tier PC.
Yeah, well, it's fucking. I'm gonna get a PC that's equivalent to mine for that price.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like $2,750 PC and 10 months of financing. You would look at that and be like, oh, that's 10 months. You're paying $275 a month. That's 10 months. No, you're still paying for a full fucking year. You are still going to end up paying $3,275. Actually, that's not entirely correct. You're going to be paying X amount of money. You're gonna be paying. I don't fucking remember, like $3,300 or some shit like that.
Yeah, because I mean that's how that company is making money off that because they're making you pay
Exactly.
the payments, but they're also like, hey, let's just sprinkle a little bit on top there so that don't go out of business. Which I mean, I have no problem with. I absolutely understand that. That makes perfect sense to me. But
Yeah. No. I mean, it's it's not a bad business practice, and it like programs like that make things like what you and I have access to more on my side of things.
yeah,
Because your PC's a little bit trash.
shut up. I know. I
Sorry.
need to upgrade it.
uh,
We were
but
literally the segue into this discussion was me talking about how I need to upgrade my PC. I know.
yeah. But yeah. No. Like it makes those. It doesn't necessarily make high end options more accessible, but it makes those mid tier and getting closer to high end options more accessible. Like instead of like you have some people who go out there and they make $50 a fucking hour for whatever they're doing. They
I
make
wish.
shitloads of they make shitloads of fucking money for whatever they're doing. Like they're in high demand, high risk, high reward jobs like linemen and welders and things like that. Like you might not think about those things. You might look at those things and be like, well, that's not too bad. They have all that. They have a bunch of safety equipment. Blah 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 blah. I
Do you know
mean,
how expensive that
when
safety equipment is, though?
I mean, yeah, I mean the safety equipment itself is insanely expensive, but like you have these dudes that are going out and legitimately risking their fucking lives, their well-being.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily their lives, but their well-being. Like so some of these people that work in like dependent like steel mills and things like that,
Oh, absolutely.
you're you could be risking your life. You could be risking limbs. Linemen, you're risking your life. You could be risking, bodily function because that's a dangerous job. You are working around high tension power cables. You are working around high capacity power cables. That's your job. You are there to maintain and upgrade and whatever the hell. I don't entirely understand it because I've never done the job, but like you make a lot of money because you might fucking die. You make a lot of money because you might not be able to live the rest of your life.
Do you think I can get Walmart to pay me more for my sanity?
No,
Damn.
but yeah, no, like, like there are people that make that kind of money, and they can go out and they can be like, okay, well, I made X amount of money, so it's no big deal for me to splurge $5,000 on a fucking PC, because they can go out and they can save up money for 3, 4, 5 months, and be like, all right, I have enough money for the PC that I want, and then they buy the PC that they want. But then you have other people that work in jobs like what you work in, or they make the kind of a money that I make. I make my money because I'm disabled. You work at Walmart,
Yeah.
and like, but like with my money, I can't afford that. If I saved up every penny that I could, if I saved up every single penny that I possibly could for half a year, I wouldn't even be able to afford my PC that I have right now.
I feel that. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to afford mine either. You are actually, I believe, currently making more money than I am anyway, and that is because you're disabled, and that kind of sucks that that is how that is. But I mean, the PC market has gotten to a point because of, like you were saying last time we were recording, resources and so on. It's just so expensive that I probably, if I saved up every penny I could for 6 months, I could afford to get a graphics card easily. Am I good with money? No. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not that good with it either. I mean, but yeah, no, I mean, like, another big thing with that though is not necessarily that I'm not good with my money, but there's the bills that I have to pay, and then there's the extra stuff like food and smokes. And yes, I am a smoker. Congratulations, hello. I have a nicotine addiction.
That's fair.
Um, but yeah, no, like, but that whole thing with the the pay that kind of pay stuff. That's a topic for my own podcast, which may be starting up, possibly, maybe eventually. I don't know. But yeah, no, like
Yeah.
those kinds of programs are good in that they do make those kinds of things more accessible, but they're also bad in that they're only accessible if you can afford to risk making those payments.
Yeah.
Me personally, I can afford to risk making those payments. I know what I have to pay. I know for a fact everything that I have to pay on a monthly basis. And yes, it's a lot, but like after the majority of my bills have been paid, aside from like one or two really minor ones that are like $15, I know I'm going to have enough money to be able to pay for that $275 a month. Now, I might not be able to go out and, have a good time. I might not be able to go out and, get drunk with my buddies and party it up or anything like that. I might not be able to go out to dinner for a little while or as much as I would like and shit like that. But I
Bro,
could do
you
that.
don't get out to dinner as much as you would like anyway. You sit there. We're literally sitting here recording this podcast at 6 o'clock in the evening, a time when either of us could be doing any number of things not at home. But here we are recording a podcast because that's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
I mean,
with
but what I'm getting at though is like with that kind of expenditure, like if you know what you're paying every month, like I know what I'm paying every month. My bills, the stuff that I pay is set. I don't have things that deviate. I don't have to pay for water and electricity and heating and all this other stuff. The only things I have to pay are the only things that I have to pay for are set. I know exactly every month what I'm paying.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now, I wondered. I know that I saw earlier when I was looking up the no compromise gaming. When I just googled it and got the basis. It says that they do like peripherals and parts. I wonder how easily I could get a graphics card through them, because that's the
I
main
don't
thing I need to upgrade.
I don't know if they do
Parts like that.
yeah, I don't know if they do parts and stuff, but let's see here if they do. They do. Yeah, it doesn't really look like they do like parts, but well, here let's go Intel and AMD gaming PCs here on No Compromise Gaming, nocompromisegaming.com. Hashtag sponsor me, please. Um,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Please sponsor us. Wow, I could get a laptop that is better than my PC for $275 a month.
Yeah, the one that so the thing that I'm looking at getting is the Argon Gaming Desktop. Now, that's that might not actually be what I end up getting. I might get the one right below it, the Platinum Gaming Desktop. But I'm thinking about getting the Argon Gaming Desktop, and what that comes with is um, I'm not worried about the case. I really don't give a shit about the case, but it's got a Ryzen 5 5600X. It's air cooled, yes, but I don't really care about that. It's only got a B550 chipset in terms of the motherboard, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's not
It's
bad
got
at all.
16. It's got 16 gigs of DDR4, and you can change these parts. It's got a 3060 Ti. It's got a 500 gigabyte SSD. That's not a whole lot of storage space, but you can upgrade that for like in my case, I can go ahead and save up my money because I'm making these payments anyways. I can save up that extra bit of money and get another or a bigger, different SSD. And 500 gigs is still all right.
Yeah.
Like it's not bad. And like I said, you can swap a lot of this stuff out. You can go through and you can change like everything that's listed there. You can change. Like I'm planning on swapping out the case, which is going to save me about $3 a month. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, makes a fucking difference. But then you start getting into some of these other things, which are a little bit more ridiculous. Like if I want to upgrade my motherboard to the X570, which is what I would absolutely fucking want, is the X570, that jumps it from $268.75 per month to $277 per month.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really want to do is upgrade the RAM. I want to upgrade from this DDR4 2666 to DDR4 3200. And the graphics card, obviously, like they have a bunch of stuff for graphics cards and stuff. Like I could reduce my cost and just get a 3060 as opposed to getting a 3060 Ti. I want the 3060 Ti though, so I'm not going to. But that would save me almost $26 a month.
Yeah, no,
And then
absolutely.
and then the hard drive or SSD, if I want to, I have a 4 terabyte external hard drive. If I want to, I can.
You can skimp out on hard drive there. Absolutely, you could skimp out on hard drives. That's easy to do, especially with that having 4 terabyte external hard drive like I do, and like you have. Uh, Discord.
Than the one that they had, but it's also still got the Ryzen 5 5600X. Would I rather have the Ryzen 9 5900X? Yes, but that's another $50 a
Right.
month.
Break for a
It's
moment.
only air cooled, which I'm fine with.
Break.
Yeah.
Uh, Discord just froze for me, so I think that was a solid like 2 minutes of you talking about graphics cards that I couldn't hear, and therefore OBS could not hear.
Ah, well, that's entertaining.
Yeah, whatever, it happens. But yeah, point is, y- if you want to skimp out on parts like hard drive or whatever because you've got something like the $80 4 terabyte hard drive that we have,
Hmm.
you can do that. And with that extra 20, 30 bucks, however much per month that you're saving, you can upgrade the processor a little bit. Because the computer I'm looking at right now on No Compromise Gaming, is has got an i7 in it, and yeah, an i7 10700. I could upgrade that to an i9, and that's 26 extra dollars a month.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
like
I can easily just be like, I don't want to have. Okay, it already doesn't have the M.2 solid state drive, but I could totally sit there and just say, I want this 250 gig SSD that I'm going to use purely as a boot drive because I've got 8 terabytes of space otherwise that I can use. That,
yeah, I mean, I could cut out a lot of the stuff that's on here. Like I could get a single 8 gigabyte stick of DDR4 and just say fuck it and get that, save myself 10.5 bucks a month, and the the stuff that's in my current PC out and use that instead
yeah, no,
because it's still good.
yeah, that's one thing I love about computers. It's why I'm a PC gamer as opposed to like a console gamer. PCs are very modular. You can add
Mhm.
things, you can take things out. it's a little bit more complicated than it is with, say, having an Xbox, where I could go out, buy an Xbox right now, hook it up to, or come home, hook it up to my TV, turn it on, start playing. With PCs, it's not that simple. You got a little bit more setup that you got to deal with. But having that setup comes with being able to. Okay, sorry. Nathan messaged me telling me what you were saying because, of course, as I stated when we previously recorded this is being recorded in Discord in a stage, quote unquote, because that's what Discord calls it. It's essentially Anubis and I are sitting here talking. We currently have 2 people in the audience just sitting here listening to us talking. Welcome, Nathan. Welcome, Jason. But yeah, also added on to that, I'll put a link in the description of the video. However, I get this on Spotify and whatever. I'm going to find a way to put a link in that description for the Discord, so you guys are more than welcome to join. You're more than welcome to listen in on these podcasts while they're being recorded. I lost my train of thought before I was reminded about that. What was I saying?
I'm not entirely sure. Something about swapping parts out and stuff, modularity.
Oh yeah, everything's just modular. It's super easy to. It's super fun to have, because I could literally just upgrade my computer now if I had the parts and wanted to.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about PCs is like I could go out and I could buy all of the parts that I want and not need to buy a kit. I wouldn't need to buy RAM because
Yeah.
I have the RAM. I probably wouldn't need to buy a power supply unit because I'm pretty sure my power supply unit is at least 600 watts, if not more.
I think mine's
And
500 watts.
and I mean, I wouldn't need to buy a hard drive because I have a hard drive. I wouldn't need to buy any of that extra stuff because it's hard drive. The only things that I would really need to buy are like the motherboard, the graphics card, and the CPU. But the issue with that is if I'm buying the parts and only the parts, odds are I'm buying those straight up with cash. I'm not making payments on those kind of things. I'm not, there's no financing for that kind of stuff and all that. Like I might be able to find places that are selling refurbished parts, which I don't trust, or places that are selling used parts, which I don't want to do. I want new stuff. I don't want to take the risk that it's going to break a month after I buy it.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I absolutely, because I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and buy. I refuse to buy refurbished PC parts if it's off something like Amazon, because I don't know if I can trust those.
yeah, no, but that's one of the things is those 3 parts right there, just those 3 parts, only those 3: motherboard, CPU, and GPU. Um, if I were to buy only those 3 parts these days and nothing else, I would be spending just as much on those parts as I spent on my PC when it was brand new, if not more.
Yeah,
To get to get parts that are better than what I have, even to get parts that are equivalent to what I have now, I would be spending an equivalent amount to what I spent on my PC when it was new, around $2,000 or more.
and that's just for those 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I absolutely feel that. That's one thing that sucks about the PC market, is just that everything is so much more expensive than it was 2 years ago,
Like
even.
three years ago, that wouldn't have happened. 3 years ago, I could have gone on a website like Newegg or something like that, and or PC Part Picker and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Which, like, I mean, you're still gonna be paying right around MSRP for those parts and stuff, but in the long run, you're saving money.
Yeah, no,
You
absolutely.
have to put it together. You have to put it together yourself and make sure it works yourself and all that shit. But in the long run, you're gonna, like, 3 years ago, you would have saved money. Now, no fucking way. You're
No.
going to be spending just as much to get an equivalent PC, or more to get an equivalent PC, just by buying those parts. Like the getting the parts would cost just as much as getting the PC. There's no point in buying the parts yourself. Like, it's nice to go out and get individual parts. That's what it is now. You have a PC. You already have a PC like what I have. So you can go out and you can get parts and you can upgrade. But an issue with that is PCs aren't entirely modular. Now, granted, there is modularity between systems and stuff. I can go out and get new RAM and all that stuff. But one of the issues with these kinds of things is if I go out and I get a new GPU, I get a new graphics card. That graphics card might not be compatible with my chipset, and my power supply unit might not be big enough to provide that power to the graphics card.
See, that sort of thing is something that you always have to think of when you're building a computer, and it bugs the hell out of me that that it's not simpler and you can't just be like, "Hey, I want such and such a graphics card. I'm just going to throw it in." Because you're right. I can sit there, I can buy a 3070 and throw it in my computer right now, but my power supply cannot handle that. And that's because it doesn't need to right now. It's handling a 1050 Ti.
Yeah, it's like yeah, PCs aren't entirely modular. PCs you do have to put if you're buying parts and stuff, you do have to put thought into it because
Yeah.
like if I were to go out and get the 3060 Ti, which is the one that I want right now, like if I were to just get a new graphics card, I would be better off right now buying a new PC.
Yeah. I probably would be the same, but I'm gonna be the dumb guy who just buys a new graphics card.
But like doing that, like buying the new PC, it's not one of those things where, oh well, it would be better off for me to buy a new PC. No, it's not that. The reason it's better for me to buy a new PC instead of buying the parts, more than likely I'm going to be saving a fuckload of money.
You're getting pretty choppy there. Domo arigato, my guy.
Like it's only right around $2,500. Like if I were to buy it straight up in cash, it'd be right.
I can't tell if this is your internet bugging or mine.
All the stuff that will come with it.
What?
PJ, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I couldn't tell if it was your internet bugging out or mine. Okay, it was your internet.
Oh, PJ.
But me, what? I'm so confused. Overall point is, PCs are expensive, but they're really nice. Discord yeeted itself. Oof. There is a stream text chat.
Okay, there we go.
Literally 2 above this, Nathan, is
Hello?
stream text. Yes, I hear you. Sorry, I was answering Nathan. He said we need a stream text chat just for some fun interaction. I thought about that, and I made one a while ago when I first made this Discord. All right, cool.
Okay.
So, fortunately, I'm recording this and editing this, so for all intents and purposes, no time has passed.
Yeah. But yes, no. Technical difficulties. I don't know if it's because of the weather or what, but there were technical difficulties. So, back to the recording. Da-na-na.
Da-na-na.
Um,
Oh, Nathan can't see the stream text chat.
where was I?
I don't know because you cut out halfway through talking. All I know is you were talking about the parts and how computers are not entirely modular, that you do have to pay attention to that sort of shit and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, no, you definitely do need to pay attention to that. It's a major risk because something that a lot of people don't think about is with those kinds of things, it's not as it's not one of those things where oh well that's too bad. It doesn't work with my chipset. No, you might straight up kill your computer doing that.
Yeah, that's actually something that Nathan was just saying to me a little bit ago here. He messaged me and he was saying that he was saying that he wishes CPUs were a little bit more swappable because I can sit there and I can buy a CPU right now. I can go on Amazon right now, buy an i7, but that doesn't mean that I can just immediately throw it in because I have to make sure it's the LA11 whatever the hell chipset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is one thing that is annoying because we were it was when Gavin still lived here. I think we were upgrading his computer and we
Another
bought
one.
continue.
Another one of the things with it though is like just to continue rolling on with this. Another one of the things with it is power supply unit. Like I've seen people who get power supply units that provide more power than what they need. That is a bad call. That is a bad idea. I
It's a
don't tell
waste
you
of money and
like
it can fry your stuff.
yeah, it's not only yeah exactly. It's not only a waste of money. You can fry your shit. Like I I know somebody who was at the time they were new to PC building, and well they were telling me the story. Anyways, I wasn't there watching them build the PC or anything, but they were telling me the story. They were like, "Man, today I fucking built a PC and I fucking destroyed it because my PSU, my power supply unit, stuff." They were telling me they bought. So their PC, the one that they were building, only needed something like 606 or 650 watts. That was it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh fuck it, I'll just I'll buy the bigger power supply unit because then I can upgrade it in the future and all that stuff." And so they bought that. They bought the 750-watt one. They threw it in there, and they essentially destroyed their motherboard and their CPU.
No, that I hate hearing stories like that because I can just only imagine if that happened to me. I mean, that's of course if I didn't know what I already know about the fact that that can fry everything. But that is so much money down the drain. Like a motherboard itself, a motherboard probably like what he had. Was he going mid tier, low tier, high tier? Kind of computer was
He
he
was
building?
he was going mid tier, planning on upgrading to high tier.
Yeah. So with that,
But I mean, like in his computer, he didn't just fry his CPU. He didn't just fry his motherboard. The power supply unit, useless, fried.
are you serious?
The
He
capture card,
fried. Oh
yeah, he fried the power supply unit. Now a lot of people might look at that and be like, well, obviously when he plugged it in, something was fucking wrong. Something was hooked up wrong. And no, everything was hooked up exactly how it should have been.
yeah,
His
something was hooked up
like
wrong. A fucking 700-watt power supply.
yeah, exactly. He had a power supply that pumped more power than it fucking needed to, and like you get a bunch of people out there and they're like, oh well, the power supply unit's only going to draw as much power as it needs. The
No.
power supply unit is a 750-watt unit. It is going to draw as much power as it needs. It's going to draw 750 watts.
Mm-hmm.
It
And then
has
it's
that
going to
capacity,
evenly
therefore it is
disperse
going
that
to draw.
750 watts.
Yeah, it has the capacity to draw 750 watts, so it's going to draw 750 watts. He fried his CPU, he fried his PSU, he fried his motherboard, he fried his graphics card, he fried his capture card.
Ooh, no.
Like he
Capture
fried
cards are
everything.
expensive.
They're fucking insanely expensive. He fried his fucking SSD. Thankfully, it was a brand new SSD. There wasn't anything on there, except Windows.
That's good.
But like that was like $2,000 or more down the fucking drain because he bought a single piece that wasn't what he needed.
Yeah, because I'm so glad I didn't do that. That would, oh, that would have been horrible.
Yeah, it's like yeah, you can make that call and get a power supply unit that is bigger than the one that you need, and it might work out fine.
You just have to be careful because of the parts that you have. You have to decide
Hmm.
very carefully, can this part handle this? And like put research into it. If you're gonna, so one thing about computers when you're building them, if you're gonna sit there and go through and be like, hey, this is gonna put out more power than it needs, you have to put in the research to make sure that the other parts that you have can handle that, because computer parts are a fickle bitch.
Hmm. And not just that, but like if you go out and you buy let's say you buy a nice CPU,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh shit, I only have X amount of money left to buy a graphics card. So you go out and you buy a graphics card that is at the top end of the money that you have left to buy that graphics card. The graphics card and the CPU themselves might not be compatible. Like, it's not. It probably won't break your system. It probably won't corrupt anything, but it might not work. You might not be able to access the graphics card. You might not be able to access the CPU. There might be conflict in there. Like, you're probably not going to destroy your system. You're probably not going to have to reinstall Windows and all that stuff. You just might not be able to use those things.
Yeah. I don't know. I was careful when I picked out the parts for my computer. Also, I had to be careful because my dad wanted to help me build it, because it was kind of supposed to be like a, hey, this is your first PC build. I want to help you do it. It was not my first PC build.
Oof.
I don't know if my dad knows that to this day, and I built this like 3 years ago. And I kind of feel bad because I don't want to tell him and be like, hey, yeah, just so you know, when we built my computer, that was not the first PC I'd ever built.
Yeah, I mean, I bought my PC. I've built two PCs, and I mean, I didn't technically build them. I helped other people build them, which is the only reason why I know anything about it. I don't know a whole lot.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
fair.
here to I'm not here to tell you that this is how you should build your PC. This is what you need to do, because I don't fucking know those things.
No, that's your
I
job with
no.
politics on your podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Hint, hint. Yeah, but
Devil's advocate coming soon.
yes, yes. Um, but yeah, no, like that uh, like I'm not here to tell you all these things about this is what you need to get, this is what you need to do, these are the kind of items that I would look for, this is the price range, blah blah blah. I don't know about this shit. Like, I didn't buy the parts, I didn't build them myself. I helped other people build them, which is the only reason I know any of this. And like, I bought my PC pre-built.
Yeah.
The reason I bought my PC pre-built isn't because I didn't know about these things, and not because I didn't have help. I would have had a lot of help doing those kinds of things. The reason I bought it pre-built is because it was easier for me to access,
That's
and
fair.
like it wasn't necessarily cheaper at the time. It was right around the same price as if I had gotten most of the parts myself, but like it was more accessible, and I didn't have anywhere that people could have mailed parts to.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Because, I mean, it's always good to have those sort of people that'll sit there, and if you're having trouble with something on your computer, you can just sit there and DM them and be like, hey, this is happening. Please help. Lord knows I
And
did that plenty of times with Thunder when I was trying to code stuff for the Ox mod for the 61st. I
yeah,
I was learning as I went, so I would message him, be like, "Hey, how do I do this?" And then he just kind of stopped helping me because he got annoyed. I think that's about when he
fair
stopped.
enough.
Just that's kind of when he just kind of dropped off the face of the earth for a bit.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot better, especially when it comes to gaming PCs. Like, it's not as much of a concern if you're getting something that's like for work or
Yeah,
something. Like, if the only thing, if you're not planning on playing, anything more
high
intensive
end
than fucking
AAA titles.
Minesweeper. Yeah,
Does my computer even
exactly.
still? Does my computer even have Minesweeper on it? I don't know.
I have no idea. Probably not. But
It
yeah, no. If
probably
you're not
does
plan-
actually. That's a staple of Windows.
if you're not planning on playing anything more intensive than Minesweeper, buying a lot of those parts doesn't really matter. Go out, get yourself a 350 watt fucking get yourself a 350 watt power supply unit. Get yourself a fucking an i3 fucking Intel Core or something, and get a cheap ass motherboard and single channel 8 gig stick of RAM. Boom, there you go, computer. There's a little bit more that goes into it. Like, obviously there's the hard drive and shit and the case, but like,
See, with that gets a little bit iffy on that one because I mean, I can sit there. I built this computer to do video editing, which is why it has what it has. But
even though it doesn't work anymore, what?
shut up. That doesn't mean I can still sit there and open up Adobe Premiere right now and start editing. Hell, that's what I have to do after this. But I don't want to sit there and have to worry about, hey, I've got such and such games. That's why I have my laptop. Is the point of what I'm saying. That $400 laptop that I bought. It's not powerful. It is literally the best it can do is write documents. So if that's your jam, writing documents, Anubis. If your thing is writing documents or whatever, sure, get a cheap laptop or a cheap PC. Hell, get a cheap pre-built. Those will run you fine. But
Yeah, like you can like if all you're planning on doing on that, like PJ was saying, is making a fucking Zoom call or a Skype call. Do people even use Skype anymore?
no, Zoom
Uh,
replaced it. There was a meme about that.
fair enough. Yeah, if you're out there like the only thing you're planning on doing is making like a Zoom call and writing up your fucking thesis on why thick thighs are the best and all that kind of stuff.
Why they save lives, in fact.
Yeah, you're writing your PhD thesis on why thick thighs save lives, all that shit. Like,
If you're
and that's
writing a
all. If
PhD thesis on why thick thighs save lives, I would
I
A,
want to read that.
I want send it to me. B, why the fuck are you listening to this podcast?
True. Um, but yeah, no, like, if that's kind of what like you're planning on, if that's really all you're planning on doing is like using it for fucking WordPad or Microsoft Word if you're feeling bougie, and Zoom stuff like that, go out, get yourself a $200-300 laptop.
Yeah,
Save yourself the time, save yourself the money, save yourself the concern. You can bring that bitch everywhere. You can plug it into pretty much everything, and you don't need to worry about putting anything together yourself.
you can sit there and write a full page fucking thesis on your couch.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about laptops. That's why I have two of them. Uh, one of them for documents and various shit, and then one
Yeah.
of them for graphic design because that's literally the reason I bought that laptop.
Like obviously there's pros and cons to a lot of stuff when it comes to PCs. Like but in the modern day, in the in the current times, PCs, whether it's a laptop or a desktop or an all-in-one or anything like that, you're going to be spending a lot of money, and it's not worth parting it. It's not worth buying the parts.
As much
It's
as I
not
wish
worth.
it was.
Yeah, it's just not. It's you are better off going to like yeah, if you are a bougie ass bitch and you have the money to spend, for all intents and purposes, by all means, go out, go to fucking Newegg, go to PC Part Picker, go to Amazon.com if you like those sketchy black websites. I mean, what? Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
go to those kind of sites and buy your individual parts. Newegg and PC Part Picker and all that stuff. Go out there, buy your individual parts.
See, I used
By all
PC
means,
Part Picker
do
when
that.
I built my computer. Like, my dad was like, hey, let's just use this. We literally sat in front of the TV. I plugged in my laptop, my old ass Chromebook at the time. I got that Chromebook in 2014. I don't
Dude,
have it anymore, but that's because I gave it to one of my coworkers for his kid, like, last year.
good God.
Yeah. So, I plugged that Chromebook into the TV, and my dad and and my brothers, we sat there in the living room of the house we were in at the time, and we picked out the parts for my PC. We, well, when I lived with my family, we since moved from there, and I actually built my PC at my parents, where my parents currently live in the house that they bought. Um, and then I went to college.
Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like back in ye olde days, 3 4 years ago, that was a good option. That was a good route to go. Was going to those places and buying those parts individually because you could buy parts that were arguably better than something like you could go to those websites and stuff and you could buy the individual parts for the same price as a PC that would have been, you know, just a step below it or
Yeah.
two
And
steps below it.
I mean, PC Part Picker, when you're going through picking the parts, tries to get you the best deal possible, get you the cheapest part possible. But then it's at the point where this is what the basic thing we've just been discussing. It's at the point where you can sit there and go on PC Part Picker, and the cheapest part you're gonna find is $1,200.
Yeah, I mean, like, fucking Christ, like if you wanted to buy a great, awesome, high end, top tier PC, right?
Yeah.
And you wanted to build it yourself, and I'm talking like top tier. You want a 3090 and all that shit in there.
Oh
A
yeah.
3090 alone is going to run you 2 or 3 grand. You can get a PC pre-built with a fucking 3090 in it
For less than
for
$3,000.
like 4 grand.
I don't know. It depends.
You can get that top tier high end PC for 4 grand. And if you wanted to get that top tier high end 3090, you're going to be spending 2 or 3 grand on that bitch. And then you factor in buying the power supply unit, buying the fans. If you want it water cooled, you got to buy the fucking water cooling stuff. And then you got to figure in the CPU, the motherboard, the hard drive or SSD, and a lot of people have been making pushes towards SSD, solid state drives, and all that stuff. Like, at the end of the day, if you're gonna buy that high end top tier gear, you're gonna be spending 6 fucking grand.
Yeah, I almost
You're
water
gonna be
cooled my
spending
computer,
a lot of money.
but that is a lot of extra time and effort that I don't have.
Yeah, like you're gonna be spending a lot of money doing that. You're gonna be spending way more money than it's worth. You
Yeah.
are better off going out there and buying a PC that has the parts that you want in it, or trying to find a PC that has the parts that you want in it, and then upgrading the parts that you don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and we're pushing an hour and 10 minutes of recording. Um, so that extra 10 minutes covering the part where Discord yeeted you.
Good times.
But yeah, I think this is where we're going to leave it off here. Hopefully the audio is a lot better. Looking at OBS, it looks like it's been peaking properly, where yours is right up there with mine. So they can actually hear you. Uh, Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. This is, as I said earlier, been Geekly Discussions. I'm PJ.
Noobus.
And we'll see you next week.